Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Warmington calls for drastic changes to the Integrity Commission Act. Deplorable NWC pumping stations, TVJ News explores in a special report. Later in sports, yet another batting collapse from Jamaica Scorpions in regional 4-day competition. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shane Masters and here are the details. Drastic changes are needed to the Integrity Commission Act. That's the view of Member of Parliament for Southwest St. Catherine, Warmington. His call follows what he described as a major blunder last month involving the Commission and Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Mr. Warmington was making his submission to the Joint Select Committee reviewing the Integrity Commission Act 2017 on Wednesday. There is a push by some parliamentarians for a drastic reduction of the powers of the Integrity Commission. Member of Parliament for Southwest St. Catherine, Warmington, in making his submission, called for several amendments to the Integrity Commission Act. Among them, changes that would allow for the executive director or a commissioner to be impeached by provisions in the Houses of Parliament. The law currently states that the decision to terminate a commissioner or the executive director rests with the Commission and the Governor General. Mr. Warmington is suggesting this power should reside with the Parliament.
I'm asking for Amendment 9 to amend Section 15, subsection 2, subsection 3. C. The Governor General, acting upon a vote of impeachment of not less than 2/3 majority of both Houses of Parliament, shall remove from office the Executive Director, any other director, and all commissioners or any of them on the ground of misconduct in public offices.
Now, following the blunder involving Prime Minister Andrew Holness, like others, Mr. Warmington says the actions of the Executive Director of the Commission, Greg Christie, were misleading. He argues that Mr. Christie retweeted reports from both local and international newspapers, despite knowing the outcome of the ruling by the Director of Corruption Prosecutions. It's why he believes Mr. Christie should not remain in the post.
Having known that he misled Jamaica and everyone, and stating that he was not obligated by law to lead that also. And having retweeted it, he caused the office of Executive Director to be called into disrepute. And I don't believe it's worthy of him to sit in that position.
President of the Jamaica Civil Service Association, O'Neill Grant, is in support of the suggestion for prosecutorial powers to be removed from the Integrity Commission. He was speaking on the morning agenda on Power 106 FM.
I do believe that the award of the powers to prosecute within the Integrity Commission should not be there. The JCC's position is that there should be a special prosecutor set up within the office of the DPP to which matters of corruption is referred to that special prosecutor, rather than the prosecutor within the commission being the one that is taking charge of and leading those prosecutions. I think if that was the case, we would have been in a better position to gauge whether or not one director of the Integrity Commission is in conflict with another.
Change is coming. That promised the residents of water-deprived areas of St. Elizabeth. According to Cabinet Minister Florence Green, the investments that will be made in water infrastructure in the parish over the next few months will raise the parish's food production to the next level. More in this report.
Water is life, and Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Floyd Green, says the administration will soon breathe new life into parts of St. Elizabeth by bringing the commodity to an additional 4,000 hectares of land.
We're going to take water from the Black River, which is the longest navigable river in the country, and we're going to use that water to provide irrigation supply for the plains of St. Elizabeth. The Prime Minister announced that this is a national strategic project. It is going to cost our country about $200 million United States dollars.
That water project will complement the Essex Valley irrigation program that is now underway. The Essex Valley Water Project, when completed, is expected to take the commodity to parts of southern St. Elizabeth and southern Manchester. The Cabinet Minister, who was speaking at the St. Elizabeth Technical High School on Wednesday in recognition of World Water Day, said citizens can also do their part to increase their own access to the commodity.
So one of the things that we're going to be promoting, pushing, and moving to a stage where we have a policy around is that we have to reach that stage in Jamaica where every building, every household where possible does rainwater harvesting. The reality is that we don't have a lot of rain, but when we get rain, we should be storing rain so that in the periods of drought, we have the water to utilize. And the government is going to help by going on a program to provide storage tanks for people in.
Mr. Green, in the meantime, commended the farmers from the Breadbasket Parish for their food production, especially amidst the drought in the last 3 months.
Less than 10% of the arable land, the land that is good for farming, has irrigation supply. But do you know which parish in Jamaica produces the most agricultural items? St. Elizabeth produces the most agricultural items in the entire Jamaica. So despite having one of the lowest levels of irrigated water supply, we still have the highest levels of production. But what we want to do is to change the water dynamic in St. Elizabeth.
Perry and Simpson for TVJ News.
And it's time for a break here on the Midday News, but please stay with us. The details when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Councillors in Manchester are fuming over the prolonged period it is taking to have the congestion issue in the town of Mandeville rectified. The issue is with the time delivery trucks arrive in the already congested town centre to drop off products. Halshane Burke reports.
In recent years, the Manchester Municipal Corporation has been trying to address the congestion in the town centre of Mandeville. There were even talks of having a bypass to the town to limit vehicular traffic, but that is yet to be realised. According to councillors in the parish, it creates a nuisance when there are several deliveries at various spots in the township for both vehicular and pedestrian traffic. But CEO of the corporation, Andrew Harrison, says the corporation, despite the delay, is still looking at addressing the issue of the delivery trucks. He says it was referred to the Office of the Parliamentary Council for the legal document to be drafted and gazetted. However, he says additional information has been requested.
They want us to be more specific in terms of what is covered by the term delivery truck. They also ask us to provide an appropriate geographical description of the boundaries of the area to be covered by the proposal. And thirdly, they have asked us to specify the sanction, if any, that is to be provided for in respect of the breach. This aspect, Mr. Chairman, will be forwarded to Finance for us to determine the appropriate sanctions for breaches of the delivery schedule.
As for the geographical location, Mr. Harrison says information will be requested from the police through the commercial division of the corporation. Councillor for the Spurtree division, Erwin Facey, wanted timelines.
It has been taking such a long time, and I don't know from the inception when they got it why they didn't send back to the corporation to say provide all of these details, because I'm sure that would have been forwarded long ago. And I thought that's something about penalties or something like that. But I think that will come under if you are, say, gazetted to be in a certain particular year at a certain time. If we breach that, I think that's something that will come under the traffic fines or something like that.
Corporation's CEO says a timeline cannot be given currently until the details requested by the Parliamentary Council are provided to them. But Councillor for the Mandeville Division, Jones Oliphant, is seemingly frustrated with the process.
Based on what is taking place now, it will take another 5 years before this thing really comes to reality.
The truth be told, it has been going on for a mighty long time now, and to see that we have submitted it and was just waiting on it to be gazetted. Now it come back for us for further clarification or info. I think the onus is on us now to really fast track that so we can send it off back to them.
Hal Shane Burke reporting for TVJ News.
A partnership between the Heart Trust NSTA and the Filippo Baptist Skills Training Center in Spanish Town, St. Catherine is expected to help reduce crime and violence in the old capital. The initiative is targeting youth development.
Violent crimes, deadly gang feuds, and extortion are not foreign to Spanish Town, St. Catherine. In fact, several communities in the old capital have been listed as crime hotspots by the police on multiple occasions. The cops are searching for 5 men who've been listed as violence producers in Spanish Town. A quick look at their background reveals most of them are young adults. It's situations like these that have prompted the Filippo Baptist Skills Training Center to extend its offerings. Pastor of the Filippo Baptist Church, Carl Johnson, says the aim is to provide a wide range of skills and courses to attract as many young people as is possible.
We have housekeeping, we have IT, we are going to be adding allied health and things like that. But all of this is to really give these young people another chance through the avenue of education empowerment to develop and to evolve into the best they can become.
I am very pleased with it because I cannot speak for myself only, but I can know that my other colleagues are able to get a job experience easily because they are calling for us instead of us going out to them.
So far, the Heart Trust NSTA has jumped on board. The agency donated several equipment, including 8 desktop computers. Previously, students were accommodated at a neighboring school. Principal Coordinator Loretta Dawes Collins acknowledged that the center is desperately in need.
Reason being, remember, they are a school that do CSEC, they do Cape also and City and Gale, and they do information technology. And with that, sometimes we displace them or they can't accommodate us. So this is a open door for us to have a lab at Filippo Baptist Church. And so we are really, really appreciative of it.
We are making an effort to assist young people to fully reach their goals and to achieve whatever they want, their dreams.
Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
And it's now time for the Business Minute.
Listed company ISP Finance Services raked in more profit in its financial year ended December 2022. Net profit for the year amounted to $58 million versus $53.9 million in 2021. Total income for the year was, however, $2.7 million lower than in 2021. ISP's revenues for the year amounted to $431.1 million versus $433.8 million in 2021. The microfinance company says its performance was driven by a slowdown in the economy due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but says as normalcy returns to the economy, it's projecting better results in its upcoming financial year. Embattled Chinese property giant Evergrande has announced plans for restructuring around $20 billion in offshore debt, which could be seen as a model for other struggling developers. The firm said the measures will help efforts to resume operations and resolve issues onshore. Evergrande has more than $300 billion in liabilities and defaulted on its debts in late 2021. The crisis has spooked traders who fear contagion in China's property sector. The Inter-American Development Bank says Argentina has signed on to 3 programs to help develop its agriculture and wine sectors. IDB President Ilan Goldfein and Argentina's Economy Minister Sergio Massa signed the loan agreements totaling $235 million. $125 million is earmarked for strengthening agricultural health services and enhancing the sustainability of marine resources. The funds will go toward the control and prevention of pests and diseases that affect the country's animal and plant health assets. The loan will benefit more than 1 million private stakeholders in the agricultural sector. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Hal Shane Burke.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, The St. Lucia government has announced that it will disburse an estimated 11.5 million EC dollars in outstanding arrears to public servants. A statement from the Office of the Prime Minister confirmed that negotiations between the Umbrella Trade Union Federation and the government negotiating team had resulted in 2 collective agreements being reached for the periods 2016 to 2019 and 2019 to 2022 respectively. On the international scene, the Israeli parliament on Thursday passed a law that would limit the ways a sitting prime minister can be declared unfit for office as part of a package of bills the government is pushing through in its controversial judicial overhaul. The bill is viewed by the opposition and critics as a way to protect Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is facing an ongoing corruption trial. Following a 61 to 47 final vote, the Knesset approved the bill that states that under the Prime Minister himself or the cabinet with a 2/3 majority can declare the leader unfit. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Simpson.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, Karen Madden will have your midday sports report.